everybody. Welcome to another terrible podcast by comics. I'm Eerie Diamond. This is RJ Owens.
Hi, kids.
Chave Alexander, also known aka Alotta Boutte. She will be here momentarily. She is traveling in her little car and she's going to join us. All right, let's get started. I'm excited to finally have my friend RJ on the show where we're just talking and not doing any kind of game show or anything.
But your game show was so much fun.
God, it is so fun, isn't it?
Just don't get old, because when you get old, your skin gets really thin.
Oh no.
Yeah, it does. It's the strangest thing.
Really? Is that what? God, people tease me all fucking day. I think it's because I have the meanest friends on earth. You've met them all.
Yes.
Teasing me
here in Vegas,
favorite thing to do.
Here in Vegas, I'm not around that at all.
So you're not used to it like you used to be. See?
No. If I was still in the burlesque, San Francisco burlesque culture. Hi, Mom. Still there in the
Hi, Deneen.
The San Francisco burlesque culture, I would be able to, I'd still be there. But
and you can fling it, by the way. I noticed you're very good at flinging the poo.
I guess I was okay. I always thought they didn't land very much.
Oh no. You're really good at you are very good at teasing me. It's amazing.
Teasing you come on.
I'm like a target. I know.
It's like falling off a bike with you.
Oh geez. Thanks, RJ. I know, Deneen. Deneen's laughing. You got your wine, Deneen? You got your wine, baby? There we go. That's my girl. Hey, it's Sunday, right? That's what it's for.
It is.
Well, you know what? I want to kind of have you kind of introduce yourself and tell you a little bit about you and
okay.
who you are, what you're all about.
Well, my name is RJ Owens. I currently reside in Las Vegas, Nevada, lovely downtown Las Vegas, Nevada. I star in a show by Cirque Du Soleil called Mystère, which is the oldest and longest running Cirque du Soleil show in the company and in Las Vegas, 28 years. I've been here 9 years. Prior to that, I was on tour with Cirque du Soleil. Prior to that, I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area, a magician and an actor, and a host of a burlesque show at one point, and guest on many burlesque shows from there. And I'm a Virgo. I like long walks on the beach and cold, quiet nights in front of the decomposing bodies of my enemies.
Oh, wow, it is a little dark. I don't know how to tell you this. I
have all the lights on too.
I'd like to show a little picture of what one of my favorite outfits of yours.
That's my day job. That's my everyday day job. Although I will say that I had gastric sleeve surgery in July of 2020 during the middle of the pandemic. I've lost 217 pounds. I went in for my fitting on Wednesday of last week to go back to shows because Vegas is starting back up and our show reopens June 28th. And they've taken 8 inches off the waist and 6 inches off the sleeves and 4 inches off the length. And I've lost 12 pant sizes and 4 shirt sizes, and I started a thing called during the process of this, I refused to buy new clothing until my weight normalized, and so I was just wearing sweatpants and everything and all that, but my underwear wouldn't stay up. My underwear kept sliding down when I would walk or go out or what have you. So I started a Go Unto Me page. Which is because I also host a couple of podcasts and I'm guest on a couple of podcasts, and I did it as a social experiment, and I basically said, look, this is your chance to dress RJ the way you want RJ to dress.
Oh my God.
And I ended up getting about 80 pair of underwear. I also, I took it from a Go Unto Me page to an Only Und page. And offered that if for $5 they would get a picture of me in the underwear they sent. For $10 they would get a saucy boudoir photo of me in the underwear they sent, which the saucy boudoir photo is me laying on my bed holding a bottle of A1 sauce. And then for $20 I would wear the underwear and send them back. And that generated about $3,000 in.
Oh my God!
I know, it's fucking crazy. But I got some amazing underwear. I really, I'm a box of briefs guy, and people were saying I got a couple of pairs of thongs, but everybody was sending me these uh, like Jimmy John's, not Jimmy John's. That's the sandwich place. I forget what it's called, but they're this one. Johnny what? Didn't even say it. Long
Long
John's, not Long John's. No, they're it's
Next
this like,
step on OnlyFans.
what is it?
She said next step in OnlyFans. It's
Yes.
yes. Oh my god.
And
So
so
I only recently found out what that was, by the way.
you should have an OnlyFans page. Are you kidding
yeah,
me?
I think.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Are you kidding me? All you would have to do is just sit there and be you and just denigrate anybody who even tries to talk to you, and you would make so much money.
I could
This
do
is
that.
this is where you could test out all your heckler material
Oh my god. Yeah.
on those silly fucks who come to OnlyFans. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Are you kidding me?
That sounds good. So
Yeah.
okay, so wow, you've lost a lot of weight. So are they just gonna make you a new diaper, or are you gonna be doing the baby anymore?
I'm going to be doing the baby. It was so interesting to watch as I'm standing there, and because we have super secure COVID protocols, we're not even allowed in the theater yet. So we're in one of the big ballrooms at TI where we're doing the PMed intake over here, and we're doing the fitness evaluations over here, and we're doing costume and shoe fittings and wig fittings over here. And I'm standing there in baby garb, and you can see the big wigs from the show coming down, not even being subtle about it, looking at me going, yeah, I guess it's okay. Okay, yeah, And I'm like, to talk about being judged, it was fucking the strangest thing. But
yeah.
I've
now
been
you know
told,
how it is to be a woman.
well, I have tits. I've felt this way for quite a while. No, I joke. I will never even begin to. I had this long talk this weekend with one of the dancers in the show that I was doing about she's such a hypersexual person in real life, but doesn't do anything about it. Doesn't. Well, I want to say this without sounding like a misogynistic asshole. Doesn't present herself as being an object.
Oh, okay.
She dresses the way she wants to dress. She acts the way she wants to act. Which is exactly what she should be doing. But no matter what she does, because she is so hypersexual, that automatically every single thing with a penis just hones in on that point. And we had this huge, long conversation about it. I will never begin to understand women and what they go through on a minute by minute basis. And I won't even try. I should try, but I'm sure that even if I.
That's even the idea of knowing, kind of having an idea of what women go through is woke enough. You're good. It's just, yeah, it's just.
I think my upbringing for that. I had 3 older sisters and a mom, and I was fortunate enough. They were much older than me. My youngest older sister was 11 years older than me. So by the age of 9, I was going to the little local grocery store and buying tampons, and I knew all about menstruation and all the woes that were going on with my sisters. And then when my parents divorced, I lived with my mom, and so I got that as well.
Yeah.
Darren. Oh, Deneen, you're a Virgo as well, Deneen? No.
I was going to say my brother, our baby brother, Kevin, is a baby of 3 girls, and he's a Virgo.
Ah, yes. A sensitive fucks.
Yeah. So
he's an asshole.
No. Oh no!
No, I don't mean it that way. We just don't joke with each other, but
we all have that capability within us. Trust me.
Oh yeah. So I want to ask you. So one thing that one of the first things that you did that I thought was amazing. Well, you're a really fun magician, I gotta say.
Thanks.
And when I say a fun magician, I mean he's the kind of magician that he's not this magician. He's not that magician. He's not that kind of magician. He's like a fun magician. Like he does crazy tricks that they make you laugh, and there's like a little
one
bit
that I would want to see because I'm not really into magicians.
Yeah.
Yes, he's funny when he's on stage. He's having a good time, and his tricks aren't always like, I mean, they're not traditional magic tricks,
Denise, since you're our sole audience, I would do a trick for you right now if you'd like.
Well, Jason's here too. Hi,
Oh,
Jason.
I'm sorry, I didn't see Jason. He didn't have his
Jason's
camera on.
invisible.
Ooh, the invisible man.
Usually he's in a chair and his dog's butt is in the video, but
He's our
but
invisible friend today.
he knows my predilections, so that's a smart.
yeah, show us a trick.
All right, bear with me. I'm going to run over to the magic side of my office and grab.
Oh, geez.
I just moved into a new house, so I have wings in my house now.
Ooh.
I know. When I say wings, I mean more than one room.
Jason. It's okay if you don't want to show it. No judgy.
You.
No judgy.
No judgy, JC. No judgy.
I have those Zoom days too.
Oh, that's like when my boss decides to suddenly have a Zoom meeting. I'm like, no, I'm not turning my camera on.
I'm just getting used to like just being a hag when I want to be a hag.
You know what? You're among friends. You're among friends, Denise.
Yep.
Don't even worry about it.
I know that feeling. All right, you ready, Denise?
Mm-hmm, I'm ready.
Then I'll tell you a story using cards, wit, and rhyme. Don't give me that look. It won't take much time. In this story, you'll find of two gals and one guy, a soap opera of sorts. Now let's find out why. The first two of three were husband and wife, a king and his queen for most of their life. He called her Edith. She called him Stan. Yes, she was his queen, and Stan was her man. Now the king, he could smile, but Edith could not. For it was child they wanted, but could not be got. For the king was potent, virile, well made. 'Twas the queen who was sterile, you see, she is spayed. They don't get any better, Deneen. You might as well laugh now and get it out of your system.
I'm enthralled.
Okay, good. Just checking.
I got this.
I'm a word person. I love it.
Okay, just checking. The king wanted his son, someone to carry his name. As soon as it was Edith, he started to blame. The fighting and yelling, Edith could stand it no more. She called Stan a bum and his mistress a horrible person. She knew of Kate, the lovely young lass with the face of a queen and a firm, shapely ankle. 'Twas Kate that Stan lusted, but still loved his queen. So a threesome they became, with the king in between. The King-Stan trio, they came to be known. Deneen, you might have to explain that to the younger kids. Yeah. But a king with two queens to be rocking the throne, you see, lust and greed, they don't mix well with fate. And soon it was Edith who lusted for Kate. I know. Yeah, sicky now. Two queens in love soon sent Stan away, but that king was persistent. He wanted to play. They refused him quick, sent him back outside the walls, and should he return, they would cut off his inheritance. Well, that king was persistent. He wanted to play and return once again while Kate was away. A fight broke out. Edith screamed, yelled, and hissed, not to mention the king. Oh boy, was he pretty upset. Well, Kate would return, much to Edith's delight. But what of King Stan? Nowhere in sight. You see, Stan is a man who knows what he likes, and Kate and Edith are a couple of. Well, you know how Susie has two mommies? Yeah, it's just like that. So what is the moral? What is the moral, the lesson we learn of Stan, Kate, and Edith and the tables they've turned? Well, I told it to Stan. Now I'll tell it to you. You can't have your Kate and Edith too. But what? But what of King Stan, who was treated so unrightly? Well, he moved to Vegas and does 2 shows nightly.
Oh. See, isn't that great?
That's for you, Deneen.
Oh, thank you. I think RJ was on when you and me and Dave did that last 2020. I remember him, I think.
Yeah, we did. I did something with me and Dave.
You're the burlesque, the burlesque dude. No,
burlesque.
The burlesque
yes.
dude.
I am the guy who teaches you language. Yes, I am the guy who teaches you speed reading by burlesque.
He was on a burlesque. He was on the show that we had with Kingfish, who.
That's right.
Yes.
And we told stories about
shitting your pants.
Show fail stories. Show fail.
Not shitting your pants.
No.
Someone else's pants.
RJ,
I mean, could you imagine if I was allowed to shit somebody else's pants? That'd be fantastic.
I thought you did, actually. Those weren't your pants, I thought.
They weren't my pants.
You shit someone else's pants. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, he gets paid extra for that when he
shits
someone else's pants.
Absolutely. That's a twofer right there.
That's a twofer.
Or a
So,
duper.
so I want
Yeah.
you to know that
Duper.
so my sister met you. There was some promo thing happening, and you were out, and you were the baby, and you were out at something, and she sent me a picture. She's like, "Look, I got a picture with the baby from Cirque," and I'm like,
Where's it at?
That's RJ. Do you?
Where's the picture?
I don't know where she has it, but
God damn it.
But it was really funny that she sent me that and was all excited, like, "Look who I met! Look who I met!" I'm like,
Well, that's one of the weird things about coming to Cirque. The baby prior to me is the man who created the role and did the role for 18 years.
mhm.
He passed away. Francois never did any publicity at all.
Oh,
And so when I came here, I took it on as part of my job. It was like something, I know how this marketing machine works. And so I started doing all this publicity. And I do everything now. And they're so happy that I do everything that I'm crazy enough to get out there and do it. We used to do VIP things before the shows. Go out for like a half hour before the show. People would come in, take a photo with us, and all that stuff. And it was out in the casino. I called it Baby Francois Happy Slappy Time, because I would get felt up and groped by more little old ladies
wow.
who would want to take a picture with me, and then they'd run their hand up my thigh or put it down my diaper or what have you. It was totally fucked up.
That is a strange fetish.
I have gotten, yeah.
I do want to say one thing for Deneen and Jason. You guys don't know RJ personally, but RJ is not a small man. RJ is
I am
like
not.
6. I don't even know how freaking tall
I'm
you are.
6'5". I'm 7'4" in hair and heels.
Wow.
So-
Yeah, he's like, so the fact that him walking around in a diaper is like hilarious. He's a giant man. Like,
He's a giant
I'm a big giant baby. Yeah.
yeah, he's a big old giant baby. So yeah,
big old baby.
big old baby. So can you tell us? I'm dying to talk to you about when you toured with Cirque.
Okay.
Because I know you basically toured all of Europe, and I don't even know all the
Wow.
places you went.
I did 19 countries in 12 months.
Wow.
In 2012, it was the most exciting time of my life. I was in Edinburgh. I'll want me to tell the origin story, then how I got to tour, or just start with the tour.
Oh yeah, tell me. Yeah.
So I was in Edinburgh in 2008 performing at the Fringe Festival, and I was doing my
Cool.
magic on the streets during the day, and then I was doing venue shows at night. And I was the big loud American, so I had crowds around me. I had a kilt made. Monique made it for me, as a matter of fact. A kilt made. I called my dress black kilt. They didn't want to do a clan on it, but and I would wear my plaid jacket and my bowler hat and sock garters. I was pretty fly for a fat guy.
Damn.
Yeah. And after one of my shows, this little tiny man comes up to me and he's like, "I really like your look." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, he's hitting on me." And I'm trying
Are
to.
you regimental, by the way? I'm just wondering.
I was regimental, yes.
Okay.
That you have to in Scotland.
You have.
And I was more worried about passing my hat because I was doing street shows. So you pass your fucking hat. That's how you make your money.
Right.
And so, but he was hanging there, a little tiny guy, kind of weird little face. "I really like your look." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. And he's hitting on me. "Okay, I got to finish collecting my hat." "Oh, no problem, no problem." He goes to shake my hand and he does the double, which is always off-putting. And he shakes my hand, and he has palmed in his hand what I can only assume is a business card. And I'm like, "Oh shit, he's giving me his number. Oh, this is gonna suck." So I didn't even look at it. I just put it in my pouch. "Hello, Chave Alexander." So I just put it. I put it in. I put it in my pocket. I forget about it. That night, he's at one of my venue shows, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, I got a stalker." But he didn't come up to me after the show. Fast forward to 2010, I get a call. I'm living in San Francisco. I get a phone call. "Hello, RG. Yeah, this is RJ. RG, this is Marc-Andre Rui from Cirque du Soleil." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, right." I'm thinking, which one of my fucking friends was it? Kingfish? Somebody else? What's going on? He's like, "I met you in Edinburgh. I said I really liked your look." I'm like, "Oh shit, it's that guy." Well, I knew where that pouch was that I put his business card in because I hadn't emptied it, even though it had been 2 years. I went to it. Sure enough, it was a business card from Cirque du Soleil, and he was one of the casting directors. And he's like, we are coming to San Francisco and would very much like to meet with you. And I'm like, why? With me, Cirque du Soleil, not exactly what you think of Cirque du Soleil.
Can I just interject one thing? Why is it that everything that's said with a French accent sounds so much dirtier? Why is that? I really like your look.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Why does it sound so dirty?
I would very much like to order a croissant.
Oh, yes. I love their hot dogs, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, why is that? Why is that? Okay, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So he says we are coming to San Francisco tomorrow. Would very much like to meet with you. I'm like, all right, fine. So we meet. We have and I learned this from them. We don't have a coffee. We take a coffee.
Okay.
Fine. We take a coffee. He says we are having audition tomorrow. We're very interested in having you audition. I'm like, as what? Really? He's like, please come to the audition. So I go to the audition. I show up. There are 50 people there, 49 of which look like every live acrobat you've ever seen. And then there's me. And right now I'm instantly thinking, all right, is this punked? Where's Ashton Kutcher? Where's the video cameras? What the fuck is going on?
Don't tell me. And they're all stretching. It's just like in Fame.
Oh yeah.
Right? Where they're all stretching
and you walk and I walk.
This is where you pay
Yeah.
the price.
I walk in and they're like, what is he doing here? So I'm like, well, I guess I better stretch too. So I get down and I can still do the splits. So I get down and I start doing my bends, and then I roll over into my straddle splits, and they're like, what? What's that guy doing? But they gave us all numbers. The first hour they wheedled us down from 50 to 24. The second hour wheedled us down to 12. The third hour wheedled us down to 8. The thing started at 7 o'clock in the morning. So at 11, they said, if we call your number, thank you very much. If we didn't, have a great day. So they didn't call my number, so I'm packing up. And I walk over to Marc-Andre afterwards, and I said, thank you very much for having me. He's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, you didn't call my number, but I just want to say thank you. He's like, no. You are the reason we're here. Come, we take lunch. And so we go and take lunch and come back. There's 8 of us now. The next hour, they cut us down to 4. And then they worked the final 4 of us for 4 more hours. It was an 8-hour audition. And they worked everything. It was fantastic. And at the end, he said, look, you are an artist of caliber. We do. I do not make the contract with Cirque du Soleil, but I will tell you that it may be 3 months, it may be 3 years, but you will be working for Cirque du Soleil. I'm like, so I leave on a really fucking emotional high. You know, never having thought that I was anything Cirque du Soleil material, I leave on that high. And I don't tell very many people about it because it's Cirque du Soleil. You know, I don't know enough about it. I know that it's a conglomerate and this huge entertainment thing, but I don't know enough about it to tell anybody about it. And then fast forward 2 years to the day before my 42nd birthday, I get a phone call saying, hi, RJ. We'd like to cast you as the role of the ringmaster in Saltimbanco. Are you available in March? And I said, yes, I am. They said, great. We want to fly you up to Montreal, have you do a live audition for the director, and then we'll make our decision. I'm like, okay, fine. So 2 days later, they fly me to Montreal. I do a live audition. He says, come, we take lunch. We go across we are at the residences, which are across the street from the corporate headquarters. We go into the corporate headquarters and the cafeteria and have lunch. And so I'm being watched. So I order fish, which I never order fish unless I'm at a sushi place. And I ordered like the flounder fillet with a side salad. So you knew I was trying to get the job. And they offered me the position, said it starts in March. And I was like, fantastic. So I come home and I tell people I got a job offer. They sent a contract. Everything is good to go. And 2 weeks later, I get a call saying, hi, can you be here tomorrow? And I'm like, no, I cannot. I actually have gigs that I'm doing and I'm booked through January 1st. December 31st, New Year's Eve, because I have a gig had done every year for the last 15 years in an old age community down in Atherton. That is my all-time favorite gig. Number one, because they pay me out the butt. They pay me so much money to do this gig. But I host their New Year's Eve party for them, and I sing with the big band, and I dance with the little old ladies. And so I said I can't do anything until after that. They said, great, we'll book you on a flight for the 1st. So they booked me on a flight for the 1st. I flew to Montreal. I trained, and I was in shows a week and a half later in Gdansk, Poland. Yeah. So that's what started my tour, Gdansk, Poland. Started 19 countries in 12 months. Gdansk, Poland, it was minus 19 degrees. Being a California boy, I didn't understand what minus 19 degrees was.
Mm-mm.
They all told me to pack a jacket, so I did. I packed my my Dickies jacket that I normally wore.
Oh my God, RJ.
Yeah, that's not the jacket you take to dance Poland. Let me tell you that much right there. And also, let me tell you that when you get over to those countries and you go to a fat guy store, which are few and far between, their numbers are all different than our numbers.
Oh wow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because at that time I was
Sizes.
at that time I was like I was a comfortable 6X, and I went over and they took me to the company manager, said, "Come on, let's go get you a jacket." Took me to a fat guy store they found, and the guy asked me what size. I said 6X. He brings me this thing out, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "There's no way that is a 6X."
Wow.
Or I am retaining a lot of airplane weight, because
Wow.
that is just crazy. But yeah,
So-
and then
So you
go
tour
ahead.
the world,
Mhm.
you come back to Vegas and you still have a job with the show, right?
Well, it's strange. I toured the world, and then in October of 2012, Francois, who created the role of the baby in Mystere, passed away. And 2 days later, I got a call from casting, a friend of mine at casting, who said, "RJ, we don't know what this means, but you've always been on the short list to replace Francois. Just keep everything open for now." Well, I was like,
Wow.
"Oh shit, okay." And sure enough, a week later, they called and say, and at this point, we were in Pennsylvania at this point, but we were going to Costa Rica and then to, oh my God, Costa Rica and Puerto Rico. Sorry. Whew, thank goodness. Okay, got it. And so we were flying out of the country, and so get a message, email saying, "Hi, we need you to do a live audition in Las Vegas on this day." Well, it was the opening night of our show in Costa Rica, and our artistic director for Mystere was like, "You can't go.
Wow.
You are the only ringmaster we have, and you're especially not missing an opening night in another country."
Wow.
And so they arranged it and finagled it. I flew out that Sunday. We opened on a Tuesday, so it was a Monday. I flew out that Monday night, got into Vegas at 5:30 in the morning. The car picked me up, took me to the theater. 7:30, I walk in, I do the audition, and I hop back on a plane, fly back to Costa Rica in time for curtain that night. I was the most rock star I've ever felt.
That is dope.
Yeah. And then we were closing Saltimbanco in Montreal at the Bell Center, which is where Cirque du Soleil is based. So it was a big homecoming because it was also closing the show for good after being running for 20 years.
Wow.
And it was Christmas Eve, 2012. And we're sitting there taking the final cast photo of Mystere, and my phone goes off, and it's the head of casting calling me saying they'd offered me the job. And and I had we were ending the show at the Bell Center on December 31st, and I was to be in Vegas on January 3rd to start training for the show. And so I came home. I came back to Vegas for 2 days. I came back to San Francisco for 2 days, looked at my stuff in storage and said hi, and got on came to Vegas, and they put me in corporate housing, and that's where it all started.
Wow. And right?
Damn.
Right? And
amazing.
and then RJ said, "Put me in that diaper."
In that diaper.
Give me my diaper.
Do I have to take the one that I'm wearing off first?
So I want to pivot a little bit. Chave Alexander, also known as Alotta Boutte in her burlesque life.
Yay.
She is Chave. I'd like you to kind of introduce yourself a little bit. She's actually one of my favorite people. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit.
And tell us why you're in a tent, because I want to know why you're in a tent.
I'm at my day job, night job, technically. I've been working night shifts, doing COVID checks as people come in for their work shifts. Why? Because the pandemic is bananas. I haven't had a whole lot of performance gigs. Beach Blanket closed just before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And unemployment decided to stop payment for 2 months. So I had to scramble and get a job.
Yeah.
So I sit in the tent.
So
people come through.
Can you tell us a little bit about your performing life?
Yes. So, oh gosh, where do I start? I've been on stage since the age of 3. Like started with all the kiddie dance classes, bumped into classical piano lessons. And then there were the dance competitions and so on and so forth, and the choirs and the things. Played flute for a couple of years, as you do. Works real well when I say my come on lines at the gay bars. Play flute. Because I'm awful. But yeah, so continued to perform and found little theater gigs here and there. And then it was actually a queer party night at what was formerly 12 Galaxies and a few other bars before that. Ran into Simone de la Ghetto, and that's how I joined Harlem Shake Burlesque. Got my burlesque name Alotta Boutte and started doing more burlesque. And then we got hired to perform with some drag queens. So I got into the drag nightlife. And then Beach Blanket Babylon were holding they used to hold annual open auditions in September. I auditioned 5 times. 5.
Really?
I showed up to 4 cattle calls and 1 open call that they had for Black girls.
Yeah, because there's only one Black girl in the whole show.
Because it's like 70s, 80s style diversity, right? You gotta have 1 Black girl, 1 Black boy.
And I think there was 1 Black guy and one
Black guy and 1
girl.
Black girl.
Yeah, it's total 70s
80s
Saturday Night
diversity.
Live.
Yeah, we got 1 of each. That counts, right? Okay.
Oh,
That way they can dance with each other, because the Black people can only dance with each other. In 80s diversity.
You know what? I just realized that. Realized that.
Oh, yeah. Like if you look at like Greece,
I didn't even think about that.
At the end, we'll always be together. There's 1 Black girl and 1 Black boy, and they only dance with each other. It happens it's like 80s diversity style. So, but because there's only the 1 Black girl, and Renee always has to have 2 understudies. That was her contract. And so I eventually got in. I was like, I'm gonna just keep showing up until somebody hires me. And then if Beach Blanket wasn't gonna hire me, I was going for oh my gosh, Teatro Zanzani. That was gonna be the other option. So I got in with Beach Blanket Babylon. And I've just kind of been on stages all over the place for a long time now that I talk it out.
And also I'd like to mention that you are an amazing songstress. She is a beautiful singer. She's got a gorgeous voice. And hold on, I'm so sorry. Somebody's asking me for the link, so I'm sending that to them. And fun and kind of a little crazy and no, I love watching you perform, Chave. I wanted to quickly mention, you did do one pretty big thing when you got into Terry Mugler's Follies. And I thought that was the coolest fucking thing ever. So if you could talk a little bit about that.
I actually hooked that gig. So the trail of how I ended up in the Follies it was actually Harlem Shake's last show. We did the Tingle Tangle Club was coming in from New York every so often. They had an anniversary show, and Joey Arias was one of the co-hosts.
I love him. I saw him live in New York. I saw him in New York.
I love them so much. I love them so much. So my other friend who formerly used to perform as Trauma Flintstone does a lot of martinis and cabaret stuff at Feinstein's and whatnot as Joe Witt. He had us set that same show and was like, oh, good, you're here. You're going to sing during my set. I sing with him all the time at Martini's. Sounds like a great plan. I love singing with Joe. He's one of my absolute favorite accompanists to sing with. And so I sang, and Joey Arias was like, girl, you got some pipes. You should be in my show in New York. And I was like, sweet, how do I make that happen? Talk to my producer, Earl Dax. Hey, Earl Dax, I already have a working relationship with you. What's up? And so after some like ridiculousness with some emails back and forth and me being stuck in Las Vegas after a Burlesque Hall of Fame weekend, I finally got to New York. And lo and behold, Terry Mugler was the director of Joey Arias' show, because those two go way back.
Wow.
And so I show up and I'm sick. I am so sick. Like I have to go to the bathroom every 15 minutes sick. Like everything hurts. The world is awful. But I want this fucking show. I want to work with Joey Arias. And so determined to work with Joey Arias. Holy cow, is and like the fact that he was the Terry Mugler hadn't registered. So I didn't care. And it worked in my favor because I showed up. I was like, I can sing, I can dance, I can wear a corset. What do you want? What do you got? What do you need? I'm here. I want this gig. I want this job. And so we fooled around a bit with some vocals. I wore one of my dark garden corsets so he could see what I looked like. We'd go to the bathroom, cry some tears, clean it up, come back, and do some more stuff. They ended up changing the entire format of that show, so I didn't get the job. And then, like a year and a half after all of that, I was in Finland. I was in Finland, headlining the Helsinki Burlesque Festival, and I get an email from Terry Mugler's direct email address. I'm dreaming up a folly show, and I'm writing a character for you. Please say you'll be in it.
Oh my God.
Holy shit! Wow.
I fell all the way out.
Writing it for you. Oh my God.
Writing a part for you.
Wow.
Please say
Yeah.
you'll be in my show. Yeah, duh. Yeah. Like
How
I did
How long were you in Paris doing the show?
almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years. And funny enough, after the first season, going into the second season, I was actually recorded to audition for Cirque Du Soleil via some channels, and the lady who originated the Ladybug and Ovo was about to take a break while the show was going to Japan. And we have a mutual friend who was like, hey, you two should talk. And so I sent her my stuff. She sent it to Cirque. Cirque flew me out to Berlin from Paris to audition, flew me back. And it was so close. It was so close. I was one person away, but I was the only person who did not have circus training.
Right.
Oh.
And so,
Which
I was
and
like,
that character.
Because they liked your look, you know, your look. Oh, they liked your look.
well,
Yeah.
I
And
got
we-
to like run around making bug noises. Like I don't have actual dialogue. Like, and I got to play with the other, like one of the people who was actually in the show as her counterpart showed up at the audition. So I got to like run around this warehouse, this random
Yeah.
guy making bug noises and interacting. It was actually a lot of fun. I was like, yay, stretch the acting chops and like do something different. It was really fun.
How long
So-
were you on how long were you in Beach Blanket Babylon?
Beach Lake Babylon, I was in there for a total of 11 years.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, 6
Here.
years before I left for Paris and 5 years after I came back.
That's
Can
fantastic.
I ask you, Alotta, it's been a while. I'm actually a East Bay Area native, born in Oakland, grew up in Hayward.
Nice, I grew up in
63
Fremont.
63, so I remember, the early Beach Blanket Babylons, and I think each year or each time they would like go to whatever the current thing was,
Mm-hmm.
as far as what was bigger entertainment. So do they still do that? I don't live in the Bay Area
Oh,
anymore.
that's okay. So Beach Lake Babylon, they had like a couple of staple situations, right? So in the early days of Beach Blanket, it actually used to be Dorothy. Because that's where Glinda
and I
comes from. It used to
remember
be
Snow
Dorothy.
White, I think, was
And
there.
then they changed it to Snow White, and it stayed Snow White for 40 some odd years.
Yeah.
And
And
so-
surprisingly did not get sued by Disney, even though
No, so fun fact, they have an arrangement with Disney. And
oh,
that partly came out of the time they did the Academy Awards, which we all know was an epic mess. So they did the Academy Awards in like 86 or something like that. Bob Mackie made their Snow White dress. So there is a Bob Mackie Snow White dress for Beach Blanket
Wow.
Babylon out in the
Awesome.
world. It is,
and no,
and I've done travel shows with it. It's gorgeous. It is beaded to the gods. Like everything's beaded. It's stunning. And so part of the deal that they have with Disney is it's more of a reference of their Snow White versus an actual replication. So the original Snow White, she has a cape, She has a longer dress. So our Snow White could not have a full-length dress. Our Snow White could not have a collar.
Okay.
So the Bob Mackie Snow White has a removable collar, but they let her have the collar for the Academy Awards.
Ah.
So it's a whole thing. But yes, they actually had a deal with Disney. You can reference ours, but you can't have this, and this on your Snow White, and then you're fine. So
Yes. Well, we probably shouldn't say it here. No one's going to see this. Were you able to take any souvenirs?
fun fact. Technically, no.
Okay, cool. But if you
No,
were going to
right.
take a souvenir,
I might, if I were going to take something, I would have taken my crown. I
uh-huh.
would have maybe taken, my hippie jumper, maybe some shoes, some stockings, some jewelry, some gloves. That's all right. It was fun. I actually had a nice Zoom chat with the ladies of Beach Blanket shortly after we got the big lockdown, and we were all wearing all of our snagged goods.
You're stolen here. The day everybody brought a duffel bag to work. No, I'm going to the gym after. You
know what? They can't do nothing to me. They closed down. So what I did was the Sunday before we actually closed, I was not booked to be in the show. So I showed up with a garbage bag and was like, I'm here for my crown. I'm here for some stockings. I'm here for some gloves. Because what's going to happen is they're just going to give it to other theater companies, or it's just going to end up in the trash. The Smithsonian does not want the crown worn by Beach Blanket Babylon's last Black girl understudy. Nobody cares.
Last Black girl understudy. Oh my God.
No one cares. Just saying.
Oh my God. So I know a lot about Beach Blanket. The reason I know so much about Beach Blanket is my best friend was the props master for 19 years. I know a lot about that show, and I've been to that show many times. And the coolest thing is, and I expected to do this with you too, RJ. The coolest thing is I would take my relatives from out of town to Beach Blanket, and then I would get to take them on a tour of the backstage afterward. And they were like, "You're a god." And also I would go to their Christmas parties. So I knew a lot of the cast.
Christmas parties.
Yeah. Oh, those Christmas parties. Oh my God. So I knew
I got the last two, and then they stopped doing Christmas parties.
Yeah. But it was fun because I knew a lot of the cast too. So I would get to introduce them to the cast, and they were like, "You're a rock star." And I'm like, "I know, right?" And then even though it was, but yes, RJ, I'm hoping that you can turn me into a rock star too if we go to.
Well, absolutely. I always give tours backstage. It will be quite a while before we give tours again because of our very super stringent COVID protocols.
Absolutely.
Understood. One moment, please.
No problem at all.
Because my fam and I want to go to Vegas again.
Have a great day.
Yeah, for sure. I want to say, I know that when we were in the lockdown, you guys are performers, and I know Beach Blanket, actually the show closed, which is outrageous.
Closed for good after 45 years.
Yeah, at the beginning of 2000, or 2020. Sorry, 2020.
Yeah, it was not 2000.
No, I was just thinking 2020 in January actually their last show was the New Year's Eve show.
And, the 31st, yeah.
And so RJ, how I know you weren't working either. What was that like, not working at all? How was that? How did you deal, man? How'd you deal?
I, like everybody else here in Vegas, thought it was going to be a 2 or 3 week thing.
Mm-hmm.
We came to work on the first week in March, and they said, "Hey, they're going to cut numbers down for attendance because they want to try to curb this thing. So we're only going to go to 5 shows a week instead of 10 shows a week." And we're starting that next week.
I'm sorry. How do you do 10 shows a week? Do you do 2 Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
We do 2 shows a night, 5 days a week. We do a 7 and a 9:30. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
We had the best weekends in Vegas because our weekends were Thursday, Friday. So it was kind of like You got a part of the week off and you got a part of the weekend off. So our first night back to work was Saturday night. But in Vegas, the numbers here are different. So in Vegas, Monday is actually Thursday. Yeah, because what you have is you have people flying in for conventions and stuff, and most conventions start on Mondays. So those are like the Fridays when people go out. It's so strange.
Okay.
But we came to work that next week to do 5 shows, and they called us in. We have what's called a tapis rouge, which is the red carpet. In French, tapis rouge. And they said, yeah, so our last show is going to be the Saturday, the 15th show, the 14th show. We're going to shut down all Cirque shows.
Wow.
And so they did. And we were like, okay, this will be 2-3 weeks, be fine, no problem. And just kept going and going. And at that point, I had already made the decision in January to go through with the gastric sleeve surgery. So I was like, okay, well, how's this going to affect am I going to still have my insurance? What's going on? Because insurance was covering it. And then they put the kibosh on all elective surgeries. So I'm like, well, I don't have to worry about having the gastric sleeve surgery because they're not going to do it.
Wait. Say gastric sleeve surgery with a French accent, though. It'll sound dirtier.
Well, I had the 2/3 of my stomach removed in a process called the gastric sleeve surgery.
Yes.
Le gastric sleeve surgery.
That's so much dirtier.
It is so much dirtier. And it kept going. The unemployment just kept going, and for the first 6 months of unemployment, it was doable, because they've got the $600 stimulus on top of what our unemployment rate was. But then they cut that stimulus out, and what I was getting weekly for unemployment was half of what I was making nightly for shows.
Wow.
And so I ate through a lot of my savings.
Wow.
During the pandemic. And it was tough. And I've never been one to save money, but working for Cirque made it very easy because they're paying you that Jesus money. And so you're able to put some away. But I'm not like these kids who come into Cirque who sock everything away and they're buying houses at the age of 25. I'm like, I'm not going to buy a house. I don't want to be a homeowner. Give me a break, especially in Vegas.
Oh, wow. That's really mean. We don't use that word anymore, homeowner.
I know. It sucks. It sucks.
I'm 63 and I was never a homeowner either. And I've realized I don't want to be.
Same here. Well, and having lived in San Francisco for as long as I had, I came to a determination in San Francisco that I could never be a homeowner because it was too expensive. But I also thought I'd never leave San Francisco. Lo and behold, I've been in Vegas for 10 years. And yes, it's culturally dead, but it's growing. And yes, their coffee sucks, but it's getting better. And yes, we're going back to work. Sucks. Their coffee sucks here. When I got here,
dude, I was just there a month ago and I could not find anything good to eat. We kept almost eating good food, but it's not like here. It's so foodie here. It's so different, Do
you guys remember Chef Gia's?
Yes.
So Chef Gia's was next to the House of Nanking.
Yep.
That travel log behemoth that takes every tour group that comes through. Yep. And the story behind Chef Gia, they were brothers. The guy who owns House of Nanking and the guy who owns Chef Gia's were brothers. The guy who owned Chef Gia's was his cook until he got tired of making all these American Chinese favorites for this touristy restaurant and said, fuck you, I'm opening my own place, and opened his own place next door that did traditional Szechuan. Oh. And so that's the story behind that. And Chef Gia's was my favorite restaurant. And they closed down while I was out of town, but you cannot find decent Chinese in this city. You can find certain areas that have some decent Chinese food, but you're not going to find like one restaurant that has it all. But all the best restaurants in Las Vegas are located in strip malls off the strip.
Yep,
or downtown. One of my favorite restaurants in the city is a place called Other Mama, and it's fantastic. It's considered an Asian. They call it an Asian bistro, and I think the term bistro is just totally overrated. It's basically a Pan-Asian restaurant that has a fresh oyster bar and gets 5 or 6 varieties of sushi grade fish each day, and so has fresh sushi and sashimi specials every day. But then they have a lot of like small plates, tapas, Asian inspired tapas. One of my I mean, just one of my favorite restaurants in the city. And next time you come, we'll go because
we gotta go. We're going at the beginning of June.
Absolutely great.
I go to Vegas continuously because hey, Mig lives in Vegas. I didn't know that.
I know. Mig showed up to my 50th birthday party. Out of the blue.
I did not know he lived in. That's a good friend of ours. For you guys who don't know, Jason and Janine, and my dad. It's a Mig is he's a gorilla at the burlesque shows. So he dresses in his gorilla costume and he's
no problem.
He's Gorilla X.
Gorilla.
He's actually going to be on the next match game, which is going to be fun.
So for my 50th birthday party, I rented there's a cute little hotel in downtown called the Thunderbird, and I rented their pool and their pool casita and their bar for my 50th birthday party. And so it was an all-day pool party starting at 11 o'clock with copious amounts of drugs. And then that night we moved to the bar where they had hired a band to do live karaoke.
Wow.
Which was just a blast. And
awesome.
I started taking shrooms at about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Jay?
What?
Yes,
I'm an adult.
Get it.
You weren't here when we started Chave. I did a show this whole weekend in the desert, the middle of the fucking desert on a dude ranch. I'm dressed in an old-timey bathing suit, sitting in a horse trough the entire show. But I brought like 120 grams of mushrooms with me out to the desert because that's what you do. That's what you do.
You are not Hunter S. Thompson, dude. Knock it off.
No, but I am the candy man, and I'm everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle RJ.
Oh my God.
I am here to provide.
Wow.
And so it's been this whole weekend has been
good.
But
I've also are like, all right, well, we can get in the car. We can be there in about 10 hours.
I've also been microdosing for the last 9 years. So just medically, just I call it the great equalizer. When you do shrooms to get high, it's like walking on an acre of tits. It's just fantastic and everything's wonderful. When you microdose, everything is manageable.
Oh, nice.
Your depression is manageable. Your anxiety is manageable. Your ADHD is manageable. Whatever you have that is causing strife in your life is completely manageable by microdosing. Wow. We could do a whole. We could talk for hours on this, but of the four of us, I know two of you very well, and I know that we've all had our experiences with the different psychotropics out there, that's why if you look for me on any of the socials, my handle is Magic Fun Guy, because
Magic Fun Guy, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's a real fun guy.
So Chave, to pivot to Chave a little bit, I know you probably haven't been performing very much either. Is it killing you? Oh, you gotta talk about it. Yep, no problem. Hello, we're back. Hello. RJ, oh my God, that's so, I don't know. I wish I was at that party. That sounds like it was rad.
And it was rad. It was in the desert, and it was a beautiful concept for a show. It was all former Cirque performers who we did a show based on the struggle that we've been through for the last year.
Wow.
And so it was so moving and emotional and touching, and in this idyllic setting of a dude ranch. We performed in the middle of a horse arena on a dude ranch. Which is just, but and we had a fantastic DJ who was just really kept the mood going, and we had food trucks that were out there, and it was the people who party here in Vegas are quite a bit different than the people who party in the Bay Area, because we've all been to those parties, and I sadly never got to go to one of your parties, Eerie, when you used to have the big warehouse parties.
That's actually unbelievable.
I know, but the locals who party here are really super chill, responsible partiers, and they're almost all either peyote or mushrooms or ayahuasca or what have you, some MDMA, a lot of really good LSD. I mean, shit that brings the 80s right back to me. That some fantastic LSD.
Are you sure you want to do that though?
What?
Well, are you sure you want to do that?
Oh yes, you do. Well, come on.
So Chave, tell us a little bit about, like, I know you haven't been performing, obviously. How is that? Is that starting to come back? I mean, how How's that going? How are you, first of all, for not performing for so long?
Thank you so much. Go ahead and grab that wristband.
And
Right.
I hope your test comes
It's
back
been-
negative.
It's been really odd,
Yeah.
right? Lots
Chave,
of
the next
shades.
person that comes up that you have to take the temperature for, can you do it rectally?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No contact, RJ. No contact.
You can do it without contact. You can throw it from far away.
Thank you so much. Go ahead and grab a wristband.
You have the gun.
My blow dart gun isn't that powerful to do such things. Hi. Thank you so much. Go ahead and grab a wristband.
God.
RJ, I love you so much and I miss you so goddamn much.
I know.
I do too. And next time you're in
so much.
Vegas, you have a place to stay, and we will go out and just be a queer nation to be dealt with. It'll be fantastic.
I love
Yay.
everything about that.
I would like to mention really quick, because we're getting ready to wrap up here. Chave, have you been okay not performing? Are you okay?
No.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was a year of manic depression, lots of manic knitting, and lots of manic gardening. My mom was very proud. My mom grew up on a farm, so she was like, "Oh my God, you grew all the things, baby!" I had like 30 plus tomato plants. I grew all the things. I have a massive amount of seeds now because apparently I get really into things when I get really into things. Whoa! Thanks
And
so
you
much,
do
Rocky.
it.
Go
You
ahead and
do
grab
it
that wristband.
all.
When I do it, I go
well.
hard. I go all the way. So I
Yeah.
have all of the seeds to grow all the things. I have all of the yarn to do all of the projects. I actually have yarn with me while I'm at work because there's moments of downtime. But no, it was a hard year for me. I've never been so stationary before in my life. All the things I know to do to hustle were not available to me. And like RJ said, when that $600 was gone, like the financial sink expedited. All of a sudden, it went from like a snail click to a holy shit, grab onto something real fast. Like, and there was a moment where we had to let go of our apartment. I had to move in with my mom for a few months to just kind of like stem the incoming debt and the extra, just like the money that was just not coming, and dealing with unemployment and trying to figure out medical. It was just, I'm not saying that my year was particularly hard, but I know it was hard all around for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I refuse to do a lot of virtual shows where it actually just looks like I'm singing in my living room.
Yeah, same here.
I miss production value, and I just didn't have, I don't have the technology or the equipment to up my game in that capacity. Hello, how's it going?
Well, I will
Thank
say
you
that
so
you
much.
both were willing to do my shows, which have zero production value, and I really appreciate that.
But they have the best theme songs. So it's funny. It's funny you mentioned.
But having a conversation with you guys for a thing is one thing. I want you to perform live or submit a video for the show is something entirely different.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just didn't have a lot of capacity for it, mostly because I didn't have the technology and I didn't have the space. Like, I had just moved out of my spot in the Sunset. I'd moved out of the Sunset after 10 years due to a horrible roommate situation into Oakland in this tiny apartment. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I have to say that the first time I got to do live stand up again, I was like giddy.
I didn't have a chance to write.
It was crazy how giddy I was about the whole thing. I was like, I kept saying, look, people, like the audience thought I was insane because I was just
That's how it was this weekend. We had 500 people at the first show and we had 600 people the second show.
Oh, wow.
And all socially distanced on hay bales and the surrounding bleachers. But the first show, the audience was so there for us in wanting to see live entertainment.
Yeah.
It was, you could feel it. You could feel it coursing through that entire audience. The audience the second night was there for a party. And it was such a different energy. But that first audience, I got all verklempt. I'm just like, you can physically feel the love when they're like, thank you, and people come up, thank you for doing a live performance again. Thank you. It's so good to be. And Chave, I can't wait for you to get back into it. It's funny you mentioned the whole
so much. Because also I've done a few virtual shows where I've hosted, right? And I'm hosting and I'm like, I hope you think I'm funny because I can't hear you laughing.
Yeah.
I know. If I see this anymore,
I've done comedy shows and you're like, I guess I'll just keep running through this because I have no idea what's, if this is hitting. I did a show at a one of those like drive-in shows, and like I had to just be okay with, they blinked their lights. That was their laughing. And I had to be cool with that. I was just like,
It's bizarre,
okay,
right?
cool. I
It's
guess. And then somebody honked their horn. They weren't supposed to honk their horn. Someone honked their horn. I go, that's an applause break. Like I was just like,
Oh, thank you so much.
I'll
Marcus.
take whatever I
And
can get at
grab
this
a
point.
wristband.
but at that point, a horn's a standing ovation.
Oh, I was just like,
Take it,
I was
right?
like, woo! Like it was
Thank you
just
kindly.
ridiculous. So yeah,
Have a nice night.
I'm very excited to get back into it, and I'm very excited to actually see my friends in person, and I
I
think
just miss that energy, that reciprocal energy that you
Yep.
have with your audience. There's something about that that just has been home for me for
Yep.
so much of my life. And
I miss seeing their face. That's what I
Right.
miss. I miss seeing their face,
I learned in my like early mid-20s that if I don't get on stage every so often, like my soul feels like it's dying.
Mhm.
It just
Yeah, what's wrong with us? What is that, you guys? It's
It's
that.
called being a fucking artist.
Yeah.
that part.
You were
Yeah.
born- you
Yeah.
were all born performers.
No, I was born a girl.
I
RJ,
oh
You can be
RJ,
whoever you want to
I would
be.
take you like a
You
baby,
be-
RJ.
you be you. He's a baby.
RJ.
I would do the
Oh,
baby voice for you, but yeah, it was so dry and dusty. I
You
lost
gotcha?
my voice this morning. You want to hear what it sounds like with
Fantastic.
the
Have a
scratchy
wristband.
voice?
Yeah, I've got to hear the baby
Yeah.
voice. Maybe that smokes cigarettes. See, there you go.
How's it going? Thank you so much, Vic. Go ahead and grab that
Oh my
wristband.
God, that is so fun.
Have
Oh,
a
that's
great
right.
night.
The baby does do that voice. I think I might have seen the original Francois baby.
Well, if
Francois.
you saw the
I
movie
saw it
Knocked
a
Up,
long time ago.
and also if you saw
So-
the movie Knocked Up, he was in the movie Knocked Up
Oh,
because they go to Mystere and take mushrooms.
oh,
Nice.
that's, well,
Yeah.
that sounds like fun. Let's
Yeah.
do that.
It's I tell every one of my close friends who comes to the show, I'm like, get high as
Thank you
fuck,
so
and it'll
much.
make all the
Have a great
sense in the world.
Yeah, I was
There you
with
go.
my mom. Otherwise, I would have been messed up. But I was with my
Yeah.
mom, and my mom's husband, who was like, that one thing was kind of gay, and I'm like, what is wrong with you, dude? It was like
I guess the two guys holding
the
each
two
other up.
dude- yeah, the two dude acrobats, and he was like, it was kind of gay, and I'm like, and they weren't fucking. I don't understand how that's gay. They're
And the thing
acrobats.
is, they're both brothers, so even if they were fucking, it
Oh,
wouldn't be gay. It's a
wow.
brother thing.
Oh my goodness. I love
That
you,
is
RJ.
the Pornhub station, I think. Okay, well, you guys, I want to thank you so much, and I want to especially thank Deneen and Jason and my dad for showing up. Thank you guys. I appreciate you, and thank you for
show.
donating. I didn't
Another
even
great
show
show.
I didn't even show my sign, but they already know my Venmo.
We're well
so I don't even have to
trained.
show it.
We got
Thank you. Thank you guys so
for
much.
tolerating my
I'm so
tardiness.
glad I finally got to have you both on my show. You guys are both phenomenal performers and very accomplished. And I'm just so, I just think you guys are amazing. And to say that you're my friends is amazing. That makes me feel great. I love that I have such great friends. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Any last words? Not that we're going to kill you, but any last words? That sounds so creepy.
I'll give you
Any
my last words.
words?
If you dig what I'm preaching, I do an Instagram live show every morning about 8:15. I've been doing it for 3 months now, and it's called Coffee Time with RJ, and it's just all about being a good human.
And he's
So
usually in his
that's-
car.
I'm always in my car. I will never do it from any other place than my car. But yeah, that's if you just want to come out and hang, and I call the show therapy because I talk out all my shit on there, but other people are chiming in and talking out their shit. And the way I live my life of being a good human is if you can learn something from my experience, great. If you want to talk about it, fantastic. But it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so I'm just telling people to drop in and give a listen. And that's the best thing about this is that because of the stupid internet anonymity. You don't have to go out and say, well, doc, my friend has this problem. You can just come on there under your name, like, Sawblade 5550 going, well, yeah, I was, I have these things about dogs and condoms, and, you can just talk it out. So
Very
I'm
cool.
gonna leave you with be a good human. That's what I'm gonna leave you with.
Yes.
Yes, I love that. Chave, you want to
Nice.
give me some pearls of wisdom, girl?
Find bits of joy any and everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be big. It could be like, oh my God, this butterfly flew with me for a block while I rode my bike today. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Find a bit of joy any and everywhere every day.
I love that. And mine is going to be just try to laugh, man. For me,
Well,
Yes.
we
That
would
is-
try to laugh, but you said you were going back to comedy. So
you know what? I'm gonna drive out to Vegas and kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your tall baby ass. You know that? See what I mean? You said you were thin-skinned, but you dish it, buddy. You know how to dish
I
it.
still know how to dish it, but my skin is getting thinner as I'm getting older.
Okay, it's all right. We're gonna have to hang out
tolerance
more.
for
You'll
bullshit
thicken
is
it
a
up.
thing.
It'll thicken
All
up.
right.
It's like a callus. It's like a callus. All right, guys. Thank you so much, RJ Owens. Thank you so much, Chave Alexander, aka Alotta Boutte. Thank you so much, you guys, for being on the show. I love you both. I can't wait to hang out with you guys. Bye, Demi and Jason. Bye, Dad.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.